Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Spring 2026 Senior College Faculty Showcase. My name is Jennifer Reed, and I'm the director of BSU Senior College. It's so great to see 40 of you here today on the screen. And we're also recording this for our YouTube channel, which is small but mighty. So if you have a friend, if you're here right now and you have a friend that you want to share some information with about senior college, you can send them the YouTube link. We'll post this in just a couple of days after. It's Monday, December 15th, 2025. And so today we're here to meet the faculty that offer courses in senior college so that everyone can get a chance to get to know them and to learn a little bit about what you can expect to learn in their courses. But of course, before we do that, we have just a couple of housekeeping things that I want to go over. First is I want to say hello and welcome to my colleague, Linda McNeely, who is here. Many of you know Linda is our part-time program assistant in senior college, but that title is so not accurate. She's basically like the president of all things information technology, back of house, database management, all the things. And she worked incredibly hard over the last couple of weeks getting all of our courses loaded into Campus CE, which you can imagine is a huge job, and lots of testing and verifying and getting the database all ready to go for the semester. So Linda, thank you for being here and thank you for all that you do for senior college.
You're welcome.
Oh, thank
My
you.
pleasure.
Yeah, we make a good team. Okay, so I wanted to give just a little bit of a background. First, though, for an icebreaker, I'd love for folks to, in the chat, which is should be on the, depending on what type of your device you're on, it would be maybe on the right-hand side of your screen. If you can find the chat, please introduce yourself. Let us know where you're from. And then because we're here, because we all have the shared love of learning, tell me who your favorite teacher is and when did you have them and why did they stand out to you? So the where you're from, where you're zooming in from today, your name, and your favorite teacher. When did you have them and why did they stand out for you? I'll share mine verbally. My favorite teacher is a man named Dr. Victor DeSantis, and I had him at Bridgewater State University in 1998 or 9 when I got my master's in public administration. And he was the first faculty member that I ever had who I just think he showed an interest in me and he was approachable and he was funny, but he held us all to a really high standard. And he later became a mentor of mine and he gave me my first ever job in higher education, which was here at Bridgewater State University. And so I'm always indebted to him. Personally and professionally, and he was just such a great teacher. And now he works at Millersville University in Pennsylvania, and he's, I believe, a dean or a vice president there. And we've stayed in touch over the years, and he's just someone I care really deeply about. So, name your favorite teacher, and folks can have fun reading through those in the chat. Okay, so today the structure of the event, after I give my housekeeping items, is that the faculty will have an opportunity to introduce themselves briefly and tell us what we can expect to learn in their class. I will say to the faculty, this means you have to just pick one or two things. Please, we would love to hear the full outline or the full plan for your course, but you'll have to just pick a couple of things that you want to highlight. And then if you can mention what type of class you're offering. So is it a discussion-based class? Is it a lecture class where there's questions at the end? Is it a hands-on class? So I think it's important when you tell people what the format is of the course. I think that's helpful as well. So you only really have like 3 to 5 minutes most, and I will give you the hook if you're going on a little too long. And also keep in mind, if you're offering multiple classes, then you really have to be succinct in just kind of sharing maybe one thing real quick, what folks can hope to learn in your class. And if you have the schedule handy, it is helpful if you can maybe say, oh, my class starts the second week in March too. But that's not necessary because folks can also look that information up. So don't worry too much about that. Okay, so Senior College is a dynamic lifelong learning community for older adults here at Bridgewater State University. We began in the fall of 2019. We have grown from just a couple of classes. I think we had 4 classes that first semester to this coming spring. We'll have 75 courses in 7 locations. So we really have expanded our footprint quite a bit in our region. So we have courses, about half of those 75 are on Zoom, and about half are in person. In-person classes take place in Bridgewater at the public library, also on our beautiful campus here at the university. We also have classes in Plymouth at the Center for Active Living, that's Plymouth, Mass, and the Hingham Center for Active Living, which is a great location. We also have 3 new locations. So the first one is the Nelson Senior and Community Center in Norton, sorry. And the other new locations are the Center for Active Living in Sandwich, and the Old Colony YMCA in East Bridgewater. So depending upon where you live, you might want to explore those in-person locations as well. And they're all really great. And I want to give a really big thank you to our partners. All of the partners let us or partner with us in the true sense of the word, in that they don't charge us to have the classes in those locations. And so we really view it as an important relationship between those organizations and Bridgewater State University. So big thanks and round of applause to the partner organizations for hosting us in their great locations. Um, so Senior College is learning for fun. I always like to reiterate that there is no test, there's no grades, there's no papers due. However, with that said, some courses, when you read the descriptions, there might be some reading or some out of class writing that you might have to do. So of course that's optional. You don't have to do those things, but your learning will be enhanced if you do the things. Like, so if you're participating in a memoir writing course, then obviously you'll want to participate in the memoir writing. But no tests, no grades. If any of your instructors give you a test, you can just let me know. But that's the nice thing for them as well, that they don't have to grade your papers or grade any exams. So it's learning without the pressure, which I think is part of what makes us so special. I also just want to give a shout out and a plug if you're new to Senior College, if you've never participated before, if you're watching this on YouTube, we have a really beautiful and special community that has come about. We had nearly 500 members this semester. Folks have developed lifelong friendships in Senior College. Folks have come to rely on each other as true friends. And so if that's something you're looking for, it's hard to make new friends, in the world that we live in today. I would encourage you to be open to that if that's something you're looking for. If you're just looking to come and learn about the things you need to know on your iPhone, that's okay. We have a class for that, and you can just focus on that. But if you're open to it, I've seen many friendships and lifelong friendships develop just out of Senior College. So that's something I'm really proud of too, is that socialization part, which is so important to all of us. We have some benefits of our membership. One is that if you're close by to the Bridgewater campus, you can get a parking pass at no cost to you. You can access for free our state-of-the-art fitness center. So that's something to explore, especially if you live in the area. And you can also get access to some electronic resources through the Maxwell Library, including a free electronic subscription to the New York Times app. A lot of our members take advantage of that. I take advantage of it. I read it every day. A lot of their articles, most of their articles, they have in audio format too. So I listen to them while I'm getting ready. So I'd strongly encourage you to, if you're interested in that benefit, you'll get access to that after you join Senior College. And we'll be in touch with you about that to our members. We also have something called a virtual Happy Yappy Hour, which a lot of the people here on this screen really enjoy. And that's an every other Friday night happy hour on Zoom, where members come in and just have an opportunity to have fun and have great conversations and just be in community with each other. So that's again just for our members. So if you are a member, you'll get more information on that. We also do special trips. We've traveled internationally. We had our first international trip in May, and we went to Belfast and Derry, Northern Ireland, and the Republic of Ireland, Dublin. And then this coming May, we're going to Scotland. Unfortunately, that trip is sold out. But the following year in 2027, we're working on planning a trip to France. So if that's of interest to you, you'll want to stay in our community so you can learn more information about that. And then we're hopefully planning, or we're working on, I should say, a trip to New York City to see some Broadway shows in the spring. So stay tuned for more information on that. We're working on that behind the scenes. We also have something called the Member Only Video Library, which is just for members. And our members can take up to 7 courses in senior college for the flat registration fee of $95. But in addition to that, you can watch courses in the member only video library at no extra fee. So a lot of folks take advantage of that. It's also a nice benefit. So if you miss a class, you can go back and watch it later. So that's convenient too. And those links get posted usually within a couple of business days. So you're able to get caught up before the next class, which is really nice. And I just wanted to touch again on the affordability aspect of senior college. $95, you can take up to 7 courses. You can pay an additional fee if you want to take more than 7. We have a couple people who shall remain nameless on this screen who like to take more than 7. You'll be very busy, but that's okay. We love busy. It's $15 per course if you want to take extra. And I just want to say, if you compare senior college to any other lifelong learning program in Massachusetts or New England, our program's model is by leaps and bounds more affordable than any other program. And the reason for that is because senior college is a mission-driven entity here at Bridgewater State University. So it's critically important to the leadership of our institution that we are engaged with older adults in our region, and that's how we're doing it. So we really are working as hard as we can to keep it as most as affordable as possible. We also offer scholarships to anyone that needs one. So if you know of someone, a neighbor, a friend, a relative who might want to participate in senior college but might be on a fixed income, please send them my way. They can reach out to me, no questions asked, no forms to fill out. We have the ability to give scholarships to anyone that asks. So please spread the word on that. Also, if you know anyone that's 90 or older, or if you yourself are 90 or older, you can have a lifetime membership to senior college. So please let folks know. We have a couple people this semester who have taken advantage of that, and we absolutely love to have folks have those lifetime memberships. So registration for this semester. Oh, first I should say, so today, December 15th, the courses were posted on our website. So you can search by, hold on, I'm going to actually share my screen real quick. If you just give me one moment. Okay. Okay. So when you get to our homepage here, and Linda, I'm assuming you can see my screen. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So when you get here, you will scroll down to where it says courses, and then you have some great options where you can search for courses by day of the week. So if you have a day that you know is you are available and you want to take a class on a certain day, you can search that way. By location, so that's the physical different places that I mentioned a few moments ago. By subject area, by fully online courses. And then also, I would strongly suggest that you click here where it says course catalog, and then you can download our handy quick glance schedule. And so this is a document. Is this still sharing the quick glance? Did that follow me?
We can still see it, Jen.
Okay, great. So you can see here that that's just a handy document to, if you have the ability to print, you might want to download that. And or you can also take a look at our full course catalog, which is the really big document, which has the letter from me, and then it has all of the courses listed, including, I'm sorry for the fast scrolling, you can see here the detailed course descriptions. And then at the very end of the document, sorry for the fast scrolling, don't want to make anyone get motion sickness. At the very end of the document, you can see the full instructor bios. So if you'd like to know more about the people that you're choosing to take a class with. Um, and so if you're not a member of Senior College already, you can create an account now by clicking here. And we would encourage you to create your account now, but you can't actually join Senior College until either Monday, January 5th. If you are a current member, you can join Senior College on that day. If you're new to Senior College, you can join on Wednesday, January 7th. And so again, that's a benefit to the membership, is being able to register a couple of days early. I would strongly suggest that you register early. We are growing, and some classes will fill up. We've had a lot of interest, especially in our new locations. Bridgewater classes, the ones at the Bridgewater Public Library, they always fill up. So I would say if you're interested, now you have these couple of weeks to really plan your schedule and then plan on either joining on January 5th or January 7th. I think that's all I have for my housekeeping things. Lastly, I would just want to say we welcome you back if you're a returning member. If you're brand new, I would say don't be shy, just dive right in. It's helpful if you're in a Zoom class to put your camera on, but there's no pressure to do so either. We have lots of people that don't want to have their cameras on, and that's okay. I would encourage you, if you think you're only interested in in-person learning, to maybe just dabble in a Zoom class. You'd be so surprised the level of engagement and community that can happen in the Zoom classes. So many of our members have even developed outside of class friendships just by participating in Zoom classes. And so I just thank you for being here. But without further ado, we will now get to the faculty. So as I mentioned to the instructors, if you need to leave early, please write it in the chat. You don't need to send it to me privately, just put it in the chat. And I will basically just, kind of spitball and let you go through the list unless you tell me you need to leave early. If you, there was one other thing. Oh, and so 3 to 5 minutes, introduce yourself. You can let people know if you're new to Senior College or returning, and what they can expect to learn in your class and the format of your class. So let's see. The first up, we'll have Joanne Burns. I wanted to say, if you need to leave after you give your plug, you're welcome to. You don't have to stay for the whole time. So let's start with Joanne Burns, and then the second person will be Ray Ajamin.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I actually left my other job. I work at a low clinic, animal clinic, so a low income animal clinic. So I said, I gotta go, I'll be back. So I am for 30 years I've been a state, federal, and wildlife rehabilitator. I've been doing programs with animals for 30 years. I'm a biologist. I actually got my biology degree at Bridgewater State University, and now I do programs with my ambassador, my education animal, Coco Pup. He is a red-tailed hawk who was hit by a car, and our program is going to be about birds in Massachusetts, and he will be my buddy hanging out with me. We will learn more about raptors, other birds, songbirds, water birds, the birds in Massachusetts that we have, different zoonotics, different poisons, different diseases, talk about bird flu, and a lot of things that people don't really know, probably should know. And if anybody, I can tell you real quick, Coco has his own Facebook page. It's Wildlife Warriors, but it's Joanne, capital J-O, capital A-N-N, period, capital C-O, C-O-1. and that's his Facebook page. So if anyone has any questions that they would like to know, that they're interested in about birds, I would love to know like what, people have more interest in. Because when they said, you can do something on wildlife, I'm like, oh my God, I could do this forever. But so if anyone has any specific questions, I would love to know that. So, and I hope to see people. We'll be doing it at the Bridgewater Library on Mondays, and then our last class will be a walk around the Tidmarsh down in here in Plymouth. Coco loves to go for walks. He was hit by a car, so he forgets that he's a hawk. So I was allowed to get a permit for him, and he's my boyfriend basically. So him and I, we go for walks a lot. He has a bad right eye because of how he was hit, so he has depth perception issues. So, but we're working on flying together, and he loves to sit on my head when we go for walks. But it's really interesting to see him in the wild. I think people would really appreciate it. And I hope to see a lot of people there. Would be great.
Thank you
So thank
so
you for inviting me and allowing me to do this. I'm thrilled.
Thank you so much, Joanne. The name of your course is
An
in
avian exploration with Joanne and Coca, wild resident birds of Massachusetts. I had to look it up myself again.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Joanne. It was great to meet you finally on the screen, and we'll
Yes,
look forward to having
absolutely.
you in senior college, your first semester. Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me. It was nice to see you. And it was nice to see everybody else. I apologize for having to leave. I have to go back and help my boss put everything back away. So thank you
No
for
worries.
having me. It was wonderful.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everybody.
Okay, so we have Ray, and then we'll do Ellen after Ray. Welcome, Ray. Good to see you.
Thanks, Jen. Ray Jamian. I'm teaching two courses this semester. One at Bridgewater at the library on immigration in the United States, and the other one on the Middle East, which I've taught before at Bridgewater, but this one will be at Norton in April. The immigration course, I think, is first of all, let me just say regarding senior college, I've taught a number of years from the Army to high school to community college. And as a teacher, I think that at least I can say it's some of the most enjoyable teaching I've done, simply because obviously there's a lot of preparation, but no tests, no grades. Students come when they want. Sometimes students will come up to me and say, I have to leave early. I just want to let you know. I say, doesn't matter. Come and leave whenever you feel like. It's wide open. It's enjoyable. There's a lot of preparation. For instance, the immigration course, which I think is very pertinent today, is I've learned a lot just in terms of preparing for it, but it's an important course in terms of which we'll cover right from the 1600s right up to today, in terms of when immigration was wide open in this country to people could come whenever they wanted, and they did. The Dutch, the English, the Irish, everybody came for a variety of reasons and they settled and they did well here. And then we started passing laws, and there's a dark side to our immigration policies, which we'll touch on. So I think it's a pertinent course and something that I think you'll find enjoyable. I always teach with PowerPoint because I think that not only putting words on the screen and what other people say, but also pictures, photographs are important in terms of learning. So I'm excited about teaching that, and hopefully you will be too if you like it. The other course is the Middle East, which was my major in college, and I'm teaching that in Norton. I believe it's April that's starting. I've done it here in Bridgewater, as I said before, but repeating it for Norton. It's simply covering the entire history of the Middle East, in particular the 19th and 20th century, in particular some of the controversial issues like the Israeli-Palestinian issue, things like that. They're much more difficult to cover, but I think they should be. So that's basically it in a nutshell. One on immigration, the other on the Middle East. Thanks.
Ray, thank you so much. It's great to see you. Quick note to people that might be new to senior college. When you see someone teaching multiple classes, it's usually because the members are demanding that of me, and they're wanting a certain class to be repeated. And Ray has been with us for many years now, and he's one of our most beloved instructors, and he puts a lot of time and effort into the presentations that he offers. So, Ray, thrilled to have you back. Thank you for being here. We'll look forward to your classes. Okay, so now we'll open it up to Ellen, and then after Ellen, it'll be Andy Murray. Hi, Andy. Good to see you. Ellen, good to see you.
Good to see you. It's wonderful to be here. I'm Ellen Snowdenbus. I'm a retired public library director, and my major in college was history. So I've always done a lot of reading on history. And my class that I'm teaching, I'm going to be on Zoom. This will be my fifth class that I've been doing with the senior college. It's just has been so enjoyable to teach and to take classes because I've been doing both. My class is called Introduction to Transcendentalism, which, if you didn't know, is the first intellectual movement in America. And the premise is that ideas change history. Many of us have read Walden by Henry David Thoreau back in high school, maybe reluctantly or enthusiastically, and who knows. But there's been a lot, what I really want to emphasize in this class, that there's been a lot of actually very good, solid, recent research on Thoreau, Emerson, Margaret Fuller, Elizabeth Peabody, Nathaniel Hawthorne. They were all together in one group, friend group, but basically, in the early 19th century. And what's astonishing to me and to everyone who's done any reading on the Transcendentalists is how relevant the issues that they raise and kind of struggled with, how relevant they are to our times. Who are we? Where did we come from? What is our relationship with other people? What is our responsibility to, to people who are different from us? All of these things have come up in the transcendentalist literature, and I have just found it. And as you recall, Mahatma Gandhi, the independence movements of the 20th century were deeply affected by Thoreau's civil disobedience essay, and the environmental movement were profoundly influenced by Emerson's essay on nature, and of course Walden's book, Thoreau's book, Walden. And so we're going to be delving into I'm going to give you a brief introduction to a lot of the different writers. But my really exciting news, and we did this on my last class, I taught a class on Michel de Montaigne and his legacy, and we had a speaker come in the middle of that class who was a writer. My exciting news is that I have the author, I'm all blurred here, but the author of one of our books is going to be speaking to us on the fourth class. His name is John Burens. He lives in California right now, but he is the ex-president of the Unitarian Universalist Association. He was the national president, and he wrote this book called, which is going to be one of our basic texts, Conflagration: How the Transcendentalists Sparked the American Struggle for Racial, Gender, and Social Justice in America. Isn't that exciting? I'll tell you, it's a page turner of a book, and we're going to be reading that. The primary sources, of course, can be found in Project Gutenberg, so that's all available publicly. Thoreau, Emerson, Fuller, all the rest. But the secondary sources I'm going to introduce you to, and I'm going to summarize. There's no requirement that you read these. I'm going to summarize them and then pose questions to the people who attend. Really kind of fundamental questions that the Transcendentalists struggled and wrestled with, and then I'll produce. I will go over the material, and then we'll answer them at the end of the class. So it's going to be kind of question and answer. There's going to be a lot of class participation, but there's not a lot of heavy lifting that you will have to do because I've done a tremendous amount of reading and organizing already. So thank you, Jen, for providing me with the opportunity to let people know. I'm so excited about this. It's just going to be so stimulating. And just like the Montaigne class, I think you're going to find it actually personally interesting because I think the questions asked are ones that we find fundamental in all of our private lives as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Ellen. Has anyone ever seen such enthusiasm? You exude enthusiasm, and we love you
I just
so
love
much for that.
research.
When in doubt, be friends with a librarian. You'll get
Yeah,
all the research. We love it. Thank you so much. We know you have built a really special community in your classes, so we're so thrilled to have you here in senior
thank
college
you.
again this semester. Okay, so up next we have Andy Murray, and then after Andy, we'll have Siobhan Corey. Andy, welcome. Good to see you in this setting. It's so weird, our lives colliding. And I met Andy because I'm wearing this dual role where I'm the interim director of BSU Cyber Range. So he is involved with my work in the cyber range. And then I'm just so thrilled to have him come to us in this format. And I think I'm really excited for him to tell you what he'll be offering this semester.
Great. Thank you. Yeah, I'm Andy Murray. I'm a electrical engineer, and I have interests in computers and cybersecurity. And I will be a first-time instructor here, and I have two courses. My first class is going to be Google Apps, and in this course, we're just going to learn about the different free applications that you can get with a Google account, and the account is also free. So they have things like Docs, which is like word processing or Microsoft Word, Sheets, which is like Excel. Then they have Slides, which is like presentation program, like PowerPoint. So we'll learn the ins and outs of those, as well as your Gmail account and some tips and tricks on using Gmail. Then my second course is a course programming with Scratch. Scratch is a visual programming language actually created at MIT and used in a lot of schools. It's drag and drop, click based. You don't have to type a lot of weird words or anything like that. But I think it's a great way to learn, and it's very addictive. So I hope that if you're interested in taking that, you'll learn a lot, and then, like I said, you'll be addicted. Both classes have very little barrier to entry. You just basic computer skills. If you know how to use a mouse, you're familiar with using a web address and going to a websites. That you're in for the class. My classes are in person at Bridgewater. On Saturdays, we start 4:18 and it goes through to 5:23. Okay, hope to see some of you there. Thank you.
Thanks, Andy. Glad to have you. This is exciting. We love, I've always been asked to offer more hands-on technology courses. So here's your chance to attend them. They're starting in April, so the weather will be good. And also the classes are going, for the most part, they're going to meet in our cyber range, which is this incredibly immersive, interactive, gamified learning space that we have here at the university. So it's a really great opportunity, especially I think you're really going to impress like your grandsons, your sons, like your people in your life are going to be like, you're taking a class in this special space and learning these great technologies. So thank you, Andy. We're glad to have you. Up next, we have Siobhan Corey, and then after Siobhan, we'll have Joe Nunes.
Hello, everybody. So good to see some familiar faces. I'm Siobhan, and this is going to be my third time teaching with the senior college, third semester. And I just love it. Thank you so much to everybody for making it possible. Those of you who don't know my story, I was doing my PhD in communications and rhetorical studies with a specialty in religious communications when I started to get very dizzy and started fainting. And I went to the doctor and they ignored me. I went to another doctor and they didn't listen, and another doctor and they didn't listen. And I thought, this is ridiculous. I'm spending all my days analyzing the speeches of the greatest speakers in the world, from Martin Luther King and Gandhi to Jesus, and I can't get a doctor to listen to me. So I developed this course, How to Talk So That Doctors Will Listen. And it's really taking into account the pressures that doctors are under, time pressures, the demands of the for-profit medical industry, insurance companies, and talking to doctors with that communication in mind. And this will be the second time that I've taught this course in the senior college. So if you've taken it before, it's going to be the same core course. So I don't recommend taking it again. But if you haven't taken it, please do. That is going to be Thursdays, 3:30 to 4:30, running January 29th to March 5th. And it'll be on Zoom. Now, if you have taken that course before, then you can take the new one that I'm going to do, which is Understanding Health Issues in the News. So I have decided that you don't need to learn biology or chemistry to understand health news. What you need to learn is how to read medical studies and a little bit of statistics. I'll teach just a tiny bit of statistics, just correlation versus causation and relative risk versus overall risk, just a little bit of that. And of course, how to find appropriate medical information, which is super important because, as most of you know, we can't really trust the CDC anymore. So we've got to learn how to look and read these studies for ourselves. And that is going to be Thursdays 1 to 2:20 p.m. May 7th through June 11th. So you could, if you haven't taken How to Talk So Doctors Will Listen, you can take that class first and then the Understanding Health Issues in the News after. Thank you so much for scheduling like that, Jen and Kara. And then I will be teaching one course that I'm really looking forward to teaching, which is in my special area of religious communications, which is called The Devil's Story: Satan in History, Folklore, and Politics. So I'm going to start out with some lecture classes, and I'll do lecturing about the devil and Satan and the ideas of hell in Zoroastrianism, Greek mythology, Judaism, Christianity, and we'll go to Islam. And that'll be mostly lecture. And then the second half of the course is going to be discussions about the role of the devil in things like the McCarthy era and transgender panics and the satanic panic of the 1980s. So it'll be a great course if you want to have grounded information and then have discussions based on that shared knowledge. And that will be Mondays 2 to 3:20, running April 6th through May 11th. Hope to have some of you there. Thanks.
Oh, Siobhan, thank you so much. You always have such incredible knowledge and expertise to share with our members. I suspect that some people might actually repeat the course, How to Talk So Doctors Will Listen. It was that popular the first go around, and we're so appreciative of you, especially with that topic and all of your topics. But, you know, so many of our members have the experience, I think a lot of us in general, and then especially as we age, I think it's even compounded to have that experience of not feeling listened to at the doctor's office. So thank you so much. We're thrilled to have you back. Okay, so now we have Joe Nunes, and after Joe, we'll have Christina Hodel. Welcome, Joe. Good to see you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope everyone is well today. As Dr. Reed mentioned, my name is Joe Nunes. I am a retired senior mechanical engineer, but I was also an adjunct faculty member teaching engineering at New England Institute of Technology. I taught a class in physics last semester at Bridgewater State University in the senior college level, and my students requested a class on how airplanes work, how they fly, what makes them stay in the air, how do the engines work, and how do boats stay afloat. So my class in April is going to be discussing wing design, the chemistry of the fuel that is used to power these aircrafts, the turbine engine, and the difference between how a turbine engine is made for a commercial aircraft versus a military aircraft, the wing design. And I'll bring examples, I'll bring plastic models of airplanes, and we'll do a little experiment on buoyancy in the class with a bowl of water and a few different types of materials. When we fly, we all travel, and when we fly, we get into an airplane, and the first thing we look for is our seat. But do we really understand how a plane flies? What's the science behind it? What's the chemistry behind it? These are the things that I'm going to explain that we see and use every day, but we never think about how they apply to us. We're going to be looking at boats. How does a boat stay afloat? When we go on a cruise, how does that large vessel, hundreds and hundreds of feet long, hundreds of feet wide, how does that stay afloat? Well, we're going to explain that with engineering and principles and scientific knowledge. We're going to let you know what to look for when you go on a boat or a plane and how safe travel is. We'll go a little through the statistics of all of that and where to sit on a plane to give you the most comfortable ride. I'm not going to tell you everything now because I want you to come to the class. We'll see.
Joe.
Hope to see all of you in April.
Well, if that's probably the best teaser we've ever had. Like, if we want to stay alive in a plane crash, we have to take your class. Okay, I love it. Let's leave it there. That's great. I just want to share. Joe is such a great example, as is Joe, Ellen, Sandra, Ray, and Joe Moore, I think, who were members of senior college. And then they just like casually came up to me and were like, maybe I could talk about this? And I'm like, yes, of course. So we have so many people in senior college who have such incredible back professional lives and things to share. So I'm so thrilled that Joe is here and coming back for the second semester as an instructor. And we'll look forward to that class. That's one I definitely would be interested in taking. Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you, Jennifer. Take care.
So up next, we have Christina Hodel and then Bob Santulli. Christina, welcome. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. And hello, everybody. I'm Dr. Christina Hodel, and I'm an associate professor in the Department of Communication. In the department, I teach courses on screenwriting, filmmaking, and also film studies, among many other film-related subjects. I'm also a working filmmaker. I just finished my 17th film. It's a documentary that's going to start its run on the festival circuit. And I've done everything written, directed, produced, edited, and acted in everything from documentaries to fictional films and got to travel around the world promoting my work. As you can see, I love films, whether I'm making them, watching them, or talking about them. That's why I designed a class for you called Cine Seniors. This is the Silver Screen Society. And in this class, we don't just watch films, we interrogate them. So in this course, you, the student, you get to vote on the films that we watch each week. And these are going to be films from around the world. There'll be films from across time periods. And we are going to analyze them from every angle, whether it's race, class, gender, ethics, the style, the sound, the editing, the cinematography, the set design, the costumes, and so much more. We'll also dig into the business and the technology that's being used in film and the roles that movies play in shaping your life and the whole rest of culture and society. And the types of films we watch, it's everything from short films to experimental films, animation, musicals, full-length features. This is a discussion-based class where you could talk or you could listen. Either way, the goal of this course is to get you to leave with a sharper, more powerful way of watching films. And I hope that you walk away from this course learning that films are more than just entertainment. They're actually a way to understand the world. So I hope to see you at the movies on Wednesdays from 2 o'clock to 3:20, starting on January 28th. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Hodel. We're so thrilled to have you back. I know this was a really popular class and a great community that you've created in your class, and we're so thrilled to have you doing this class that it sounds incredibly interesting. So thank you. It's good to see you. Okay, so up next we have Bob Santulli, then we'll have Ron Akchar. Bob, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Glad to be here. I'm going to be teaching two courses actually this coming term in senior college. The first one will be on Zoom beginning in February, and it's called The Long Goodbye, Exploring Alzheimer's Disease and Other Cognitive Disorders. It's an update of a course I've given before here in senior college. I've taught several courses in related issues. I'm a retired geriatric psychiatrist, so this is the area I'm particularly interested in. Um, and but this one, as I say, it's updated. There's a lot of new information, exciting new information about Alzheimer's and other dementias that I'm hoping to share with you. So I'll be talking about Alzheimer's. I'll be talking about diagnosis and treatment. I'll also be talking about other non-Alzheimer's conditions like mild cognitive impairment, Lewy body dementia, vascular dementia, and a relatively new diagnosis called late, which is another type of dementia that's actually surprisingly common. I'll be talking about signs and symptoms and stages of disease with Alzheimer's and other dementias. We'll talk about traditional ways of making a diagnosis, and as I said earlier, cover some of the new and pretty exciting new biological biomarker tests, blood tests that look to make the diagnosis of Alzheimer's without needing extensive imaging studies. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about medications, the older ones, not that old, but going back about 20 years or so, as well as some of the new medications that are coming on the market now, or that have been on the market in the last year or so, the pros and cons of those. We'll talk about that, as well as talk about some non-medication aspects of treatment. Another thing I'll talk about is how the family caregiver or care partner, as I like to refer to them, is a crucial part of taking care of anybody who has dementia or serious cognitive impairment. We'll talk about the burdens of being a caregiver as well as the rewards, the pleasures of that, and how central that role is in the well-being of somebody who's suffering from cognitive impairment. And I'll talk a little bit about some for people who have progressed along into later stages of illness, talk about assisted living and nursing homes, and when it's time to consider those options, consider someone moving from home into another facility. And finally, I will talk about some, and I've done this in other courses for senior college, but I think bears repeating, again, also with some new information. What are some of the things that people can do to lessen their risk of developing Alzheimer's or some other serious cognitive disorder? And as I found repeatedly over the years in teaching, the best courses are ones where there's lots of back and forth. So I'll make sure that although there'll be presentations with PowerPoint, we have lots of time for questions and discussion. So that's the first course that I'll be doing. And as I said, that's going to be on Zoom beginning in February. And let me see, the date of that is actually beginning. Yes.
Bob, can I just interrupt? I'm in the interest of time. I'm like, the clock is like scaring me a little bit. We still have 11 instructors. So with love and kindness, I'll just say, just touch on one thing for your second course, and then we'll direct people to look at the course description online.
All right, that's fine.
Okay,
Well, the
sorry.
second course is called Aging Well, Managing the Challenges of Growing Older. And that's basically all I'll need to say about it to keep it short. But I'll be talking about that it is possible and indeed important to age well. It's not all downhill. So that'll be live. I'll be doing that at Bridgewater, starting in April, on Friday afternoons from 2 to 3:20, beginning April 3rd. So how's that, Jen?
That's perfect. That's perfect. Yep, folks. And just a reminder to folks, you can read full course descriptions on our website. You can download the course catalog. And I'll just offer, thank you, Bob, for being here. It's great to have you back. And then to all the faculty that are still coming up, there is 11 of you. I want to be interested. I've set aside 90 minutes, but I want to make sure so just try to think of one thing that you want to share that folks can learn about, and then the format of the class as well. That would be really great. And I hate to cut anyone short, but we want to make sure that folks have enough time to be heard. So I'll hand it over right now to Ron Akchar, and after Ron, it'll be Kathleen LaQuale. Welcome, Ron. Welcome back.
Thank you, Jen.
You took a semester off. You
I know I did, right? It's unbelievable how much teaching I've had to do in the biology department. It's just been we're a little overloaded. So, but I'm back for the spring semester. So, I'll be teaching two courses. Both of them are gardening / plant based. The first course will be on getting ready to grow. So we'll go over things like seed starting, things to get your garden ready in springtime, ways to extend the season. Both the courses will be on Zoom. They'll be recorded for you guys to watch later if you can't make them. And then the second course will be on, I call it Let's Get Growing. And that course will talk about different types of gardens. So we'll talk about gardening for birds, butterflies, utilizing native plants in the landscape. I believe I cover a medicinal plant topic in there also. And I'm always open for discussion at any point during the presentations. I usually do PowerPoints, but at any point, stop me if you have questions. You want to talk about any kind of anything plant related, I'm there. I'm ready to talk about it.
Ron, thank you so much. You have an encyclopedia knowledge of plants and all things gardening, and we're thrilled to have you back in senior college after a semester off and in your courses, which are always so popular. Thank you. It was great to
Thanks,
see
Jen.
you. Okay, Dr. LaQuali, welcome back.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I must apologize for my voice. I'm batting a little cold here, but I'm getting the best of it. So I apologize for the quality of my voice. But this semester coming up, I'll be teaching the course Healthy Eating Practices as We Age. And it's such a thrill to be teaching in the senior college again. I was very honored to be able to teach the first semester that the senior college had courses. So teaching the nutrition classes back then was great. The best thing I loved about it was that the students understood my analogies, whereas the Bridgewater students right over their head. So I've learned to adjust my analogies over the years. But this course will look at very much what many other speakers were talking about healthy aging and primarily the role of nutrition has in keeping our brain healthy, our organs healthy, our all of our systems going strong so that we can live a healthier life and prevent many diseases and afflictions that we can encounter as we age. So I'm so excited about teaching the course. You can look at the course description, and I teach with PowerPoints, as many of the professors have said. I just love that, and as many have said, that I love when we have interaction because one question leads to another. It's the domino effect, and it's just so exciting to be teaching with this age group. And I look forward to seeing all of you in February and I trust I'll be healthier by then. I'll try to do that. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome back. We're so glad to have you. Kathleen retired as a full-time faculty member here at the university, and I was afraid that you would never come back. So I'm so happy that you've decided to dip your toe back in with us here in senior college. And to me, it's like the perfect thing to do when you're retired is to engage with us in senior college. So welcome back. We're glad to have you. All right. Up next, we have Sandra Temple, and then after Sandra, we will have Tony Lee. Hi, Sandra.
Hello, I'm Sandra Mondakowski Temple, and I will be teaching a course from Pluribus to Unum, Yorktown to We the People. How did we get from 13 colonies coalescing to win a revolution to 13 states ratifying a constitution? We'll be talking about the Articles of Confederation and then the Constitutional Convention, and finally the ratification battle in the states that forced the forming of a Bill of Rights. And the last tease I will give you is Benjamin Franklin's definition of democracy. Democracy is two wolves and a lamb voting on what to have for lunch. Liberty is a well-armed lamb contesting the vote. The class will be meeting on Friday afternoons at 2 o'clock, starting in March.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I know, Sandra, everyone's been talking about the six-part Ken Burns documentary, The American Revolution. Have you watched that at all or heard about it?
Yes, I have, and I'll be using it at the prison where I teach.
Oh, good. Excellent. Well, I just know I've heard so many people in senior college talking about it, so I feel like your course is very timely. Oh, Kathleen, are you watching it too? I see other heads
Yeah,
nodding.
I sorry to interrupt, but I actually went on a tour this past September, and we got to go into the Ken Burns studio in
Oh,
Walpole.
oh my gosh,
It was
amazing.
amazing. So
Amazing.
sorry to interrupt,
Yeah,
but it
so
was so exciting.
yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so I think it's just very timely, and we're thrilled to have you back, Sandra. As always, you are the most prepared and thorough instructor that we have. I just have to say it, and our members love you, and I'm just so glad you're here and back. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so up next we have Tony Lee, and then after Tony, we will have Jess Sweeney. Welcome, Tony. Good to meet you.
Well, thank you very much. This is my first time with BSU, and I'm looking forward to it. My name is Tony Lee. I live in Wayland, Mass, and I'm inviting you to a course called Understanding and Acting on Climate Change. The course starts on February 11th at noon at the Norton Learning Center. So we will cover main topics and issues in around climate change. And what do you believe personally about climate change? Do you think it's real, or do you think it's a hoax, or something in between? And are you alarmed, concerned, neutral, or dismissive of the climate change theories? And do you think you will be impacted personally or not? Somehow it will miss you. And then is it too late to act? Or do we have time to still take corrective measures to mitigate the damages and learn to adapt to the new changes? And what solutions should we invest in? How do we get the most bang for the buck? And what do you want, most importantly, what do you want to do to fight climate change, if anything? And we'll be encouraging you to work locally with people like-minded in your communities. So average global temperatures and atmospheric carbon dioxide continues to rise. It has risen 50% since the start of the Industrial Revolution. And we're experiencing more wildfires, more flooding, more droughts, more destructive hurricanes. And the current administration calls climate change a hoax and has reversed or delayed many of the climate change legislation that's already in law, but is being withdrawn. But there's still plenty that we can all do as individuals working within our states. Massachusetts is doing a terrific job, and then we can also make a change with our own personal lifestyles. So I'm going to take you through one of the key teaching elements that we use, which is called the En-ROADS simulator. Let's see if I can pick this up.
Tony, I hate to do this, but in the interest of time, I would just say, could you just say the format of the class maybe, and then folks could read that full description on our website there. Will be lecture, conversation, and I hate to do that, but we have like 10 more instructors that still have to share, so I want to make sure
Okay,
we give
I thought
everyone enough time.
okay. Because I thought I had 5 minutes, but I can cut it down.
Yeah, so we had to, again, the hope was 3 to 5 minutes, but we're running a little behind, so I'm so sorry.
Okay. So we look at a global model for global temperatures, and we spend a whole session just on the En-ROADS simulator. And it's a terrific help in trying to reduce carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases, and to minimize the increase in global temperatures. And you'll spend, as I said, 60 minutes on it, learning how to operate it. And you will see that we have everything that we need to have right now to start taking positive actions on climate change. Another thing we look at will be the attitudes of Americans about climate change. 10 years ago, only 47% of Americans thought that climate change was a significant problem. That amount is now up to 55%. So we now have a majority, and we should be able to steer legislation in a positive direction. So, so I will be leading this along with my wife, Margie, who has a background in policy making, and Mary Ellen Boyle, who recently retired as a professor at Clark University. And we'll also bring in an expert guest speaker to take us through the climate change model that I previously disclosed. I've been involved with climate change since the late 1970s when I was on the board of directors for Friends of the Earth. And then starting in 1989, began giving a series of lectures and talks on climate change. And for the past 6 years, I've been devoting my retirement exclusively to climate change. And we have a small group that works with these issues. We've done a lot of
Tony,
teaching.
Tony, I'm so sorry,
Okay.
but we're gonna have to leave it there. People can reach out to you if they want more information. I am so glad to have you in senior college and on this very important topic, and folks can enroll in your course and find out a lot more and learn a lot more with you about this important topic. Thank you so much for being here. So I'll just give a general, like was said, with love and kindness to the remaining faculty, that it really is like a 2-minute 3-minute max plug for your course. Let's leave them hanging, just one thing that you expect folks to learn, and maybe just, a little bit about your own background. So the next person up is Jess Sweeney. And then after Jess, we'll have Kayla. Welcome, Jess. Glad to have you in senior college.
Hi, thank you. I'm Jess Sweeney. I work at Bridgewater State. I did do 11 years in the public school system, Whitman, Hanson, and West Bridgewater. So this was a whole transition for me. I'm excited to be here on this journey as well. I will be teaching tradition and gratitudes, honoring the past, celebrating the present. Huge interest of mine. Gratitude journaling will be part of our weekly meetings, as well as, I want to say, like a mini lecture, but I'm hoping for a lot of rich discussion. I'm really hoping when we get into some of our traditional traditions, whether it be family, holiday, cultural, we can compare and contrast within the group and learn from each other and build that knowledge. I've done some research on some tradition timelines and history of different traditions, so I can't wait to share all that with you. I've learned so much, but I really hope to see you all there. It's going to be Thursdays on Zoom starting April 9th, 4 to 5:20. Traditions and gratitude. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm so excited. This is such a great example of a like out of the box kind of class, and really fun, and just get people thinking and talking and reflecting about the traditions and customs that they've had in their life. So I'm thrilled to have you in senior college, and thank you for being so creative in developing this course. It's great.
Thank you.
Up next, we have Kayla, and then after Kayla, we'll have Philip. Welcome, Kayla.
Hi, everybody. My name is Kayla DiGiamatorio. I am new to senior college, but I'm super excited about this. I currently work at Bridgewater State University full-time as an academic advisor. I also graduated with my master's degree in school counseling at BSU in 2022. So I am teaching The Story Colors Tell: Emotion, Intent, and Choice, which is going to be virtual starting late February on Mondays Tuesdays at 4:30. It's going to be recorded. I'm really excited to teach this because basically it melds two of my favorite things, which is psychology, human behavior and emotion, and art and color. I've been very excited about color and art since as long as I can remember. And one of my quirks about me is that I love overanalyzing colors in movies that I watch. I've been doing that for years, just as something that I do. And I developed this course out of this kind of interest of mine and hoping that other people are interested too and curious. So it is going to be lecture and discussion based. I'm really excited to have like good honors conversations with everybody. We'll kind of talk about every week something new. So color and cultures and tradition, film and storytelling, media, fashion and identity, nature and wellness. And we'll kind of start with the general foundation knowledge of like color theory and psychology at the same time to kind of provide a basis. And something I'm really excited to is at the end, I really want to leave everybody with a moment to just notice from week to week different colors. So every week will be like a different color I'll leave you with to just notice in different aspects of your life and hopefully build like a more of a mental awareness practice for you after the course is over. So I'm super excited and really it's good for anybody that's curious and just has an open mind. So I'm really excited and hope you join.
Well, thank you so much. I'm really excited. I'm also one of those people as well. I love observing color, or even I was saying to you when we spoke before about the lack of color, like you look across an auditorium and everyone's just in black and gray. And, I love looking at colors in movies and films as well. So I'm so excited. Super creative. Again, this will be a super fun class. And we're looking forward to having you in senior college. Thank you for being here. Okay, so up next we have Philip Shea, and then after Philip, we'll have Barbara. Philip, welcome. Oh, you're muted, Philip.
You go, is it better?
Yes.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm one of those folks that have been taking courses at senior college over the years and approached Jennifer last spring about a thought I had for course, and she said, go for it. So here I am. The title of the course is Wellness in Older Adulthood, Myth, Resilience, and Meaning. A couple things we'll look at is one, just the number of myths that float around in our culture and our society about aging, and how those myths can very often do significant harm to health and well-being of older adults. We will look at mental health conditions across the lifespan, of course, focusing on older adulthood. And one of the things we'll find is something called paradox of aging, that in spite of some strengths that diminish over time, older adults seem to live with greater life satisfaction, incredible resilience, and a lot of capacity. I think people will find it surprising and maybe even encouraging. So the course will be taught using a big PowerPoint deck, but at the same time, given the richness of the topic of older adulthood to the members and participants, I hope to draw a lot of experience among that group and hope there'll be a lot of sharing of experience and ideas. Course will be Wednesdays in February for 6 weeks, and I've had a lot of fun preparing this and look forward to sharing with others.
Thank you so much, Philip. I'm so thrilled to have you on this side of the table of senior college, and we really appreciate all the work that I know you're putting into developing this course and being with us in this capacity. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I put in the chat the queue. So up next we have Barbara Murdoch, and then after Barbara we have Joe. Uh-oh, Barbara, is that your echo?
Yeah, I think it is. I apologize.
Okay, let's just, do you have me on multiple screens or something like that?
No.
Okay, I'll put you on mute. Maybe you can fiddle with it, log on and log back in maybe, and we'll get to you after, okay? Okay, let's go to Joe Moore and then David Barrett.
My name is Joe Moore, obviously, and the course that I'm teaching is called Aging and Spirituality, and it will include some PowerPoints and videos, but also some important discussion among participants. we're basically look at some spiritual crises and frame these events in our life as spiritual crises. And quickly they are when we stop work and being productive. I hate to use the word retirement because retirement also has blessings. Adaptation to new realities, the crisis of transitioning from an outer life of achievement to a life of going more inward. And four, the risk of feeling obscure, being overlooked. And lastly, fears of dependency. We'll also touch on the meaning of meditation, and we'll look at the fact that mindfulness has deterred some people from thinking that they can qualify for meditation and that it doesn't need to be, for an hour or half an hour or anything like that. And we'll look to Mary Oliver, the poet, a lot of insight, who says, I can hardly meditate. I guess it doesn't count, but it does. So I look forward to seeing you at the Old Colony Y in Bridgewater starting in March. Thank you.
Joe, thank you so much. We're thrilled to have you over there at the Old Colony YMCA, a new location, and glad to have you here in Senior College. Okay, I'm going to hand it over now to, let's see, David Barrett. Welcome to Senior College, David.
Hey, hello, Jennifer. I hope you can see me okay.
I can.
This is my first time at Senior College, and my presentation is all about some old memories as well. It focuses on the earliest days of World War II from a British perspective. It covers the period from the end of World War I in 1918 to December 1941, when the attack on Pearl Harbor happened. Now, therefore, it turns it into, of course, a global conflict. Now, I came to America 50 years ago, and I became a US citizen in 1989, and I live in Hingham, Massachusetts. Now, I was born before the war actually started, and during those early years, I was looked after by my mother in a very small apartment in the middle of London. So we obviously experienced the Blitz, and then eventually they evacuated us into Coventry. Unfortunately, Coventry was one of Hitler's centers for bombing, and my mother decided to come back to London with me. My father served in the British Army during the war, and later in life, I would be conscripted into the Royal Air Force at 18 years old. Now, I've given this presentation to a number of local senior centers and libraries. And what I do find is that very few attendees knew what happened in those first 2 years of World War II. And for that reason, I really encourage questions during my presentation. And that's accompanied by pictures, maps, etc. And we cover in part one the presentation, covering the ending of World War I and the Treaty of Versailles. And that, of course, leads to the outbreak of war in World War II. Germany, of course, continues its aggression, and they march into Sudetenland, which is part of Czechoslovakia, Austria, and then the whole country of Czechoslovakia. And of course, Britain then makes an agreement with Poland that they will support them if they're actually invaded. However, that doesn't stop Hitler from doing that, and the war continues by the taking of Poland. Germany then, of course.
David,
Yeah.
can I just interrupt to say I think we're all hooked. I think we're really excited, but like let's leave them wanting more. And I think
Okay.
that's a good place to stop.
Okay.
I'm so excited. I appreciate all your enthusiasm. David came and sat in on one of Jim Kirkcaldy's classes to just see how senior college works. I always encourage instructors to just come and sit in and attend classes. So I'll say that to all the other instructors too. And we're really excited to have your global experience and personal first primary source life experience in this class. And thank you for being here. Was there one other thing you wanted to say?
No, absolutely.
Okay.
I think that's absolutely wonderful. And I look forward to attending in
Oh,
March and April.
wonderful. We look forward to it. Thank you, David. Okay, last but certainly not least, we have Andrea. Welcome, Andrea. Yeah, I really made you work for it today by being the final instructor and hanging out all this time. I knew you could handle it because you're been with us for so long and you know the drill. So welcome.
Hi, let's see. Do I need to pin myself?
No, but I can people
Okay.
can view you or let me do. I did view speaker on my own view. Oh, you want me to pin you to this thing?
Okay. Can you see me now?
We can see you great. Yep.
Okay.
Your volume is a little wonky though. Your say something.
Hello.
Okay.
Well, let's see if this works. Does that sound okay?
Yep. Yeah, I just had to turn up my volume. We got you.
Okay. Great. I teach origami. So in my class, I have two classes. One, I'm going to actually start with the one that starts later, is going to be in sandwich. I called the course, How Did You Do That? Impressive but Easy Origami. And we will actually be folding during class. And what makes it possible to do this is I have an overhead camera. Whoops, wrong one. I have an overhead camera, and I will talk you through and demonstrate everything you have to do or any diagrams we're looking at. The class is going to be at the first class begins, March 17th and is at the Sandwich Center for Active Living, and it's for brand new people to origami. We will be folding boxes and maybe doing what's called a kusudama, which is like a hanging piece, but we will do different kinds of pieces to prep you for moving on in origami. The second class that I'm teaching is on Zoom, and I'm sorry, the sandwich class is in person. The second class I'm teaching is on Zoom. I called it Beyond the Origami Square. Pure origamists say the rules of origami are to work on a square, no cuts, no glue. In fact, over time, particularly in the more modern era, people are using pentagons, octagons, and hexagons to fold origami. And that's what we'll be doing in this class, doing exactly the same error. Okay, we will be folding from hexagons, and we will do a whole assortment of different things. Oh, that one you can't even see. what it is, so I will stick with this. And I don't know if how this will work. There we go. You can sort of see that detail. We will also work on octagons, which we could result on this or this model, which is actually a little bowl created from an octagon. And we'll see how much we're able to do in 6 weeks. Some of the models that I have in mind are likely to take more than one class. But I've been doing this with Bridgewater for, I don't know, probably 6 years. And there are some people who are ready for this next class. So I want to be able to do that. And that is what we'll be doing. I'm done.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Andrea. We're thrilled to have you back. What I like about your class too is it's hands-on. And there's like a little bit of opportunity to just talk and have fun and just be in community with other people, which is, I think, really important as well. And I love that you use technology in such a great way to offer origami also on Zoom for those that can't attend your in-person class there in Sandwich. So well, folks, wow, that was epic. It is 4:21. If you're still here, you get 5 gold stars from me here as the director of senior college. We did it. We made it through 18 instructors. Barbara's going to come on Wednesday. Her volume was off a bit. Did I miss anyone? No, I didn't miss anyone. So Wednesday at 10 a.m., we'll be back for part 2. To the instructors, you don't need to come back on part 2 because we're posting this on YouTube with love and kindness. You don't have to come back on Wednesday. This will be on YouTube. If anyone has specific questions for our instructors, they are certainly welcome to reach out to me and I can connect you with them individually. But look for you can see the full course catalog right now on our website, the quick glance schedule, and you can read in much more detail about the faculty, what they have in store for you, and also about them and their backgrounds too in those instructor bios. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording here. I will stay on for a few minutes if anyone has any offline questions, but everyone is free to go. And thank you so much for being here. See you in senior college.